Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Synth Geekery. What are we up to? Why have I got icons down below me? That's weird. Okay, gonna have to sort that out. Not sure what's going on there. Anyway, we'll fix it up at some point. There we go, disappeared. Cool. 213 episodes. Go back and watch them all in a marathon if you want. I probably wouldn't. Nice to have you all here on a Saturday. If you're into watching the Women's World Cup, you probably would have just found out that Australia just knocked France off on penalty shootouts, and God, that's a horrible way to go. So commiserations to France if you're French. My heart goes out to you. It was a really, really good game. Congratulations to the Aussies. Well done. We've got people jumping into StreamYard, which is cool. We'll get those people in as we go. Also, don't forget, if you do want to be part of the show and you actually want to show your face, or if you just want to put your audio onto the show, you're quite welcome to. You can just do this thing called StreamYard. It's free, and there's the link below to jump on in. I've pasted it in chat a couple of times already, so do that. Now, a couple of sort of things to get through, as we like to do every week, is to just to remind you guys, it is a free show, so please do support the channel in your normal ways by subscribing and sharing and liking and things like that. But also, if you really, really want to support the channel and keep the power on and the internet going and things like that, you can always become a channel member or a Patreon, and the links are below in the channel description, and also the video description. You can just hit the join button. There's also things like super chat, so we always appreciate those things, so please do that as well. Today, if you're wondering where I'm streaming from, if you're new, we're coming live from Perth in Western Australia, which is probably one of the most remote cities in the world. It's nice to be able to do this because I get to connect with you guys who also love this stuff, like synthesizers and sequencers and drum machines and eurorack, and but not guitars. No, just kidding. I'm always like rubbishing guitars every week. Poor guitarists.
Oops.
So yes, but please, join on in, jump into chat. We have chatties all over the show, all over the world. Please jump in. Tell us where you're from. Sing out, say g'day if we like to say the Australian way of saying things, or say hello in your language if you want. If you want to be kind of cool like that. We also have awesome people who join us on the video side. We have Darren and Ian and Brooksy, and I think Andy will probably join us from San Fran a little bit later, if he wakes up soon. And we've also got people over on StreamYard, which is let me move Chris over to the left, and I hit this button, and there's StreamYard as well. So please join us on StreamYard. Chris, you can hear us okay?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Beautiful. So StreamYard is working. That's a first. Awesome. And we'll pop Chris in the bottom corner where the chatties are over here. Let's say good day to our probably the longest serving video guests of all time, and that's Darren. Darren, how's your week been, mate?
The week's been very busy at work, so not had much time in the studio. But yeah, it was supposed to be torrential rain today, but it's nothing. What's happened? Nothing really. Just I've got a lot of cables, well, packs of cables, and I've measured some of the lengths, and I'm hopefully within a few inches. As I say, yeah. Hopefully it's not going to be too long. But other than that, I've not really been doing much.
Or too short.
Or too short, yeah. I bet some of them are, That's going to be it's going to be pushing it. But other than that, yeah, I've just been doing bits to my live set, and like I said, I've not had much time this week, so it's been a bit of a low week, as in music production wise. But other than that, yeah, it's been fine.
Awesome. And how many cables did you get? And by the way, the cables you got are for your live rig, right? So these are all specific.
Well, these are just specific ones, but I don't know. I've got USB cables, small jacks to big jack cables. What else?
There's a joke
printer
there.
Cables. Don't know why I got printer cables, but printer cables.
A printer cable?
Yeah.
What's a printer
You
cable?
know, the USB-B to USB-A.
Oh, it's
There's
a
printer
USB cable. A USB cable, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the printer's going to make the noise. It's one of those old dot matrix things.
Ah. Okay. So we're going back to the 80s. Awesome. Well, it's lovely to have you.
Everyone was
And,
saying, just send your synth off, put the printer on.
and put it through a machine and drone sounds come out, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He can print off some stuff while you're doing it.
Print off the spreadsheets. Awesome. Okay, let's hit this next button, which will probably be Ian if everything works correctly. Hey, there he is.
Yay! Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Southampton. The Ian J. Cole tour continues. We've gone from Edinburgh back to Yorkshire, down to Chippenham, and we're now in Southampton.
Wow.
And it's raining and very, very windy.
That's a bit of a trip.
It is, yeah. And then after the weekend, we're going to Frome, back to Yorkshire, and then back to Edinburgh.
Mm.
So it's just a bonkers month, actually. So
it's good fun.
It's quite tiring. I mean, literally yesterday when we drove down from Chippenham to Southampton, we got 3 miles outside of Southampton, and it took us an hour and a half to get the last 3 miles because there was an accident. So it was rather frustrating journey, but we're here now. We're here. I'm here for a family weekend. My father-in-law is 90 on Monday, so we're celebrating his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Brian. Happy birthday, Brian.
Birthday.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Well, it's lovely to have, and obviously the festival went good last week.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, like I said, we're going back. We did 20. I did 27 shows. Jane did 28 in 7 days, and we're going back on the 17th. So for another, we haven't booked in as many this time. When we go back, we've left it fairly flexible and fairly fluid. But yeah, it was great actually. It was good fun.
That's busy. That's very busy.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
it was busy.
Awesome. I'm going to cut over here because it looks like someone's visiting you in the background there. So we'll go right over here to
Okay.
Brooksy. How are you, buddy?
Hey everyone. I've had a rather quiet week at work because I'm not at work. I'm on holiday. So but I've had a very busy week. Yeah. Yoo-hoo. So I've actually had a very busy week with music. Been round at Grace's doing a lot. We've done. I can't remember sort of what order we've done it, but we've done our live set for Dean Electronic Sound's next showcase. We did. I mean, I think with that last Friday we also did a whole sort of hour and a half live stream as a sort of rehearsal. Then we've done some more rehearsing during the week. We had a whole session where we're just actually really focusing on the sounds, the programming, making sure that everything was working. I learned absolutely shed loads by doing that, and particularly about the bitbox and the things that you can do and how to make sure that this triggers like that and that one doesn't, and how you can really loads of good stuff I've learned. And then last night was actually our EMON performance, which was from 11:30 till 12:15, the midnight shift. And yeah, it was fantastic. It was a decent crowd. We were really into it, and it was proper banging. We absolutely smashed it. If I say so myself, the fact that we'd rehearsed really showed. We nailed that last night. We really did. We've got video. We've got audio. The audio's a bit crunchy though. There's a second audio recorder. So hopefully Brawny, who's the organizer who was recording that, hopefully his audio's a bit better. So when that's done, we'll comp a video together of the stuff. So yeah. So sorry, I've been blathering on there, haven't I? We've been very busy.
Well, congrats. That's awesome. It always feels good when you do a good set. Well done, buddy.
Oh yeah, we had a great time last night.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, and we're going to head over to Chris next from my neck of the woods. How are you, Chris?
Oh yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Hopefully I don't sound like a Dalek much tonight. Been doing that the last couple of weeks for some reason. Yeah, that's good.
First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to Andrew Brooks and Andy Synth Addict for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. I've had 1 day off this week, and I used it to play a bit with the new toy, the Texture Lab. Starting to learn how to get into that. It's been quite an exploration. Bit of a steep learning curve, but just need to give it a bit of time. I've incidentally found out how to you can upload samples to it over SysX. They've actually got a application now on the Sonicware website. Yeah, Sonicware Labs, Sonicware website, where you can actually convert a WAV file to a SysX file, which you can then upload to your Texture Lab. So they've actually done that, so that's good. And I've been working hard at putting together a few little important things for important people. Got two.
Wow.
Built two more GP82s.
Oh, exciting.
So soon, we now have three, and the pattern is full. So soon, once the firmware is completed, there will be shippings occurring.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Excelente.
Very exciting.
So, yep, hopefully not too much longer now. We'll work out all the details in the privately and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Sorry, the wait's been too long. Probably even a bit long.
Don't apologise.
It's I'm a first time eurorack module creator.
And you're finding it.
Well done.
You're finding
Yeah.
all of the
Take
exciting
your time.
parts of doing that. Yeah, to take your time. Yeah, awesome. We're actually excited about that. So
thanks,
keep
guys.
going. Because everyone who watches this show regularly will be sort of watching the steps of it progressing, and they'll probably be very interested to see how it comes out in the end. That's for sure. Also, big hello to the chatties I mentioned before. Awesome to have all the chatties there. I think Brett Lemmings was number one, so he gets to wear the yellow Guernsey Tour de France style this week. So well done, mate. Verted Popes, big hello to you, one of our channel members, an illustrious moderator in the chat. Watch out for IP. He kicks hard. No, doesn't really. Big hello to JX3D as well, one of our illustrious members as well. And also another moderator. Robbie's there. Afternoon all, he says. Big hello to you, mate. And thanks for being on the show last week. It was lovely for you to share all that knowledge with us. And if you missed it, you need to go watch it. Citron, big hello to Synchrotron. Another Andy. And we've got Keith, one of our channel members. Big hello to you, mate. Hello, he says. And yeah, scrolling down, most of you guys are saying hello to each other, and I think we're probably getting some people jumping in now. Homegrown, nice to see you, mate. Cresshead, of course, big hello to you. Lady Aptitude, nice to see you. And Wagoo's here. Hello, Mr. Wagoo. Matt Brown's here as well. Nice to have you back, mate. Nice to see you. And Synth and Coffee Guy, nice to have you. Evening, everyone, he says. Awesome.
Synth and Coffee Guy, what a good name.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
Superb, yeah.
Nice to have Bert here, ASIO Head, as well. And Simon Great Batch is here. Big hello to Simon. We've got KV5 as well. Nice to have you. And who else? I think these people were jumping in as I was talking about not lurking. Mark M's here, of course. Big hello to Mark. Nice to have you, mate. What else we got? I think I saw a couple more. Yeah, David's here, one of our channel members. Big hello to David. And Manny, Dr. Synths is here. Wow, lots of really, really cool, awesome people joining the show notes. And it humbles me, and it's just gone and scrolled off the screen now. JP Page 2 just jumped in at the end, and a few others. So I think I've missed a couple, but if I do, just like Mr. Mac and all those people are here, but just throw your synth at the screen in disgust if you're that way inclined. Right, big show today. We've got a lot of products to get through, or not a lot. It's like a list. There's a list. So we should get through those. And we've got some memes. We've got another name that's synth this week, so stick around for that. And we also have a nice full section of price watch as well. So pretty much all the segments are chock-a-blocks this week. And on top of that, if that's not all, if that doesn't fill your synth nut hat, we have... Which button is it? I don't even know which button it is now. We have this product to show you, which has come in, which I told you guys that I'll be getting, which is the AMSynths. It's the companion module to the Behringer 1047, which is ARP 2500 clone, multi-mode resonate-ing filter. And this is basically your keyboard tracking module. And it does a couple of cool little tricks, which we'll get into, so do stick around if you want to check that out, because it is some cool things happening there. And I've got next to it, I've got a really, really fast envelope generator, which is modelled after the System 100. It's made by a UK company called Frequency Central, and this one is very, very snappy indeed. So we'll play with that envelope generator, and this will actually make some nice percussive sounds. So we'll get stuck into that now. Synth, have I got everyone in StreamYard? Yeah, everyone in StreamYard's here. If you do jump into StreamYard, it takes me a couple of minutes to add you. Just be patient, just hang out in there. But the link to StreamYard is floating around in the chat. I'll just chuck it up one more time, just for everyone. Do join us if you want it. Right, let's get stuck into the segments, starting with this one. Wonder where this is going to take us this week. It's going to take us here. Me posting a video of my music after 20 years of honing my craft and amassing $30,000 worth of studio equipment. I get 5 likes. And then some drunk dude making a French toast on a Blackstone. That's 19.2.
Excellent.
Well, yeah. Very, very true.
Facts. Next.
Very true.
This one, it doesn't even need words. I'm just like,
No.
what have we got here? It's like...
That's proper meditation, though, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Feels like that sometimes.
Let's get some monk drones happening. That's what I'm thinking, right? Up on top of the mountains. Yeah, there you go, Chris. Well done. What about this? Maybe I should have brought the kick in 20 minutes earlier, thought Bob as he glanced up from his Emon performance.
Well, yes. Timing is everything.
It's murder on the dance floor. Yeah, last one but not least is everyone is enjoying memes this week. It seems that we enjoy certain memes but not others. There we have it, people. What was your favourite meme of the week?
Presonus and the bass drum.
Bass drum, yeah. And chatties
Kick
do
drum
that,
because
mate.
it's true.
Kick drum because it's true, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's not on every 4th beat, right? What?
Bring it in early and then take it back out again. That really goes down well.
And the clap on every 3rd. No. Tell us in the chat what your favourite meme was. Darren, what about you? I think you were muted.
I was going with the kick drum, yeah.
Kick drum? I think the kick drum gets it.
Yeah.
Andy probably missed out.
That'll probably be
I
me.
just missed it. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. JP Page 2 thinks the monks should have it. The Zen Masters, according to Synth and Coffee Guy. Zencore, according to Madcat Modular.
Zencore. That's very good.
That is very cool. I don't know why it's highlighting things on this. It's weird. Don't highlight. Stop doing that. Weird stuff in software today. Mid-Journey Monks. Mid-Journey Monks. I like that. I like it. A bit of AI. Yeah, I think it might have been. I definitely think it might have been. All right, so it's okay. It's a tie between the monks and the kick drum. I think maybe. Well, we'll go with that. Hey, we'll go with that. Right. I'll just make sure. Oh, okay. Yes. Now, there is a late entry. Keith, are you sitting down? Yes, there is a late entry for the memes section. Here we go. Yes, it might take me off YouTube. Let's do it. It says, there you go, Miss Bush. That'll be £32,000. Talking about the Fairlight CMI below her. Oh, cheers, lovely, lovely. And then 10 minutes later, she's got the light pen out and she's doing what every illustrious university student does on the blackboard.
It was probably the tape operator.
That was good, Keith. Well done. So that one's probably won it now, I'd say. It was like the late mail.
Points for bravery.
If you're stuck, do a knob joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Like how many
Works
times,
well here.
When I went to uni, how many times I walked into like a lab or a lecture room, and there was just this massive big penis drawn on the blackboard or the whiteboard.
Rob,
funny.
Look at Robbie's comment that he's just made now.
What's his name?
Robbie.
What's his name?
He said something. Very good.
True.
But Robbie, we're wondering what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, like all those waveforms that you draw. It sounds like somebody blowing the nose, a bit like me.
All right, let's regain some of this sensibility in this show. Let's hit us with the news, people. There's a fair bit too this week. Wow, it actually started correctly this week. Oh my god, what the hell? Something's weird. Okay, so everyone who watches this show will know that it never starts on the right thing for some reason, but it has. Something's going wrong. Maybe the show will crash. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to be talking about this little baby. It's called the Dark Sky 4 by Space Brain Circuits. I've only just stumbled across this today, so I can tell you a little bit about it, which is like what I usually do, and then we can watch a tiny little video. The video does go for 13 minutes, so I won't bother you with the whole thing. All right, so what is this thing? It is a pretty cool looking thing. It's 4 voices, of course. It's got stereophonic voices, which is kind of where we're going with this, right? It's analog. It consists of 4 independent oscillators. They offer monophonic, paraphonic, and polyphonic play modes. Each oscillator section has a mixable waveform, which gives you the option of sawtooth or square, and you can then gradually adjust them from a square to a narrow pulse width and things like that. It also includes a detune knob and frequency modulation, as well as where you can use the envelope or the LFO to muck around with that sort of stuff. Then there's the signal flow, which has a 24 dB low pass filter with dedicated controls for cutoff and resonance. Why too? The developer wants to make more stereo effects possible with that sort of configuration. So that's why you're seeing those 2 sliders up the top in the middle there. And then the high pass option probably should have been there, but it doesn't seem to be. I don't know why. So yeah, there are 2 volume knobs, A and a B. And on the modulation side, you get dedicated VCA, ADSR envelopes, and there's a bi-wave sine and pulse LFO for doing PWM and frequency mod and filter and stuff like that. It's got 4 pitch CV ins, 2 cutoff CV ins, oscillator 3 and 4 sync in, attenuators, an LFO out with sync in, an envelope out, and pitch CV out, square out, and gate out. So there's quite a bit of connectivity on this. Anyway, shut up, Rance. Let's go and do a video on it, which is probably this button here. Let's press play.
Hey guys, I am so excited to finally show you all what I've been working on over the last 2 years. So this is Dark Sky 4. It's a 4-voice analog polysynth, and it features 2 low-pass filters to allow you to add stereo modulation and movement to your sound. So let's get it hooked up, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so for the purpose of this demo, I'm using my Arteria key step to control Dark Sky 4, but any MIDI controller or DAW would work. And because it is a stereo...
Right, let's go to some demos.
as well as detune.
Checking out the oscillators.
100% square, and obviously any combination in between. The square wave
And the filters.
A, B. Now when in A plus B mix mode, the signals will get combined again after the filters and fed into the main output as a mono signal. And when in stereo mode, each filter will go to the respective output A or B. Lastly, you can then control the volume of each of these filters using these two controls.
Headphones, people. All right, that will do for now.
Two waveforms.
You guys can check out the rest of that video. Link is going to be in the blog article, which is always in the video description, that you guys can check out probably in about 8 hours after the show's finished. Anyway, who wants to go first? Talk about this. It's pretty cool.
I'll jump in.
Yeah.
Because I think it was me that sent you that, wasn't it, Ranz?
Yeah.
I saw that earlier in the week. Just appeared in my YouTube feed, and I thought, all right, so look at this. So, and I was really taken with it. Straight away, I thought the sound of it was lovely.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary, you know, in some ways as an analog synth, except when he does get to the modulating the filters separately. I mean, it's a bit like that they do on the Udo Super 6. You've got that, so it's changing. And it was just a really, really lovely effect. So I just thought, actually, I'm really taken with this. I thought it sounded great, and a little semi-modular possibilities. Sure, it's not got every synthesis function on the planet, but I don't think that's what it's about, really. And it's a guy on his own, sort of designing and realising these synths. I just thought, yeah, you know, good for you, mate. You've come up with a really nice sounding, interesting product. So I thought that was well worth giving it a shout on here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, by the way, it's $5.99. I forgot to mention, and there is an Etsy store that you can purchase it through. But that will be in that link.
They're only made in small numbers, so
yeah, there was only one left this morning. Yeah, no, I was just going to say there's only one left on the Etsy store as of this morning. I mean, I agree with you, Andy. I think it sounds really interesting. It's nothing special. But I mean, good on him for doing it. I mean, my only reserve would be that it's in a very competitive market at that price. There's an awful lot of other stuff out there. That's the only thing, really. But I mean, clearly, he's already sold 20. I think 20 plus. It said on the Etsy store, and there was one left. That may have already gone.
Still one
and
left.
then he'll do another batch, I guess. Still one left, right?
Still one left.
You know.
I think he did say somewhere
him,
that you know. They'll go through, and when they'll go to the next piece. So if you order it, you'll be in readiness for the next batch that he does, and so on. But there might well be a wait. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't buy it. It's not for me, but I think good on him.
Yeah, it has a bit of Erica synths sort of vibe to it. You know.
Yes, it's beefy.
Looks really well made.
Yeah, see that means beefy apparently.
Don't meme it now, Brooksy.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to make a quick comment before we move on to the next?
I'll just agree with Andy and Ian. Like Ian says, though, it's just right in the middle of.
Come on, Darren, say something controversial. Tell us that you hate it. It's a waste of time. Why? What?
Stephen's going to jump on you now. Come on. You know he's going to.
I do actually like the twin filters and the way you can. Yeah, I think that's quite interesting. So, but like everyone says, I can only agree with him. I'm sorry, I can't diss it. It's the first time I've seen it as well, so it's not as if I've sat down and listened to it a bit and then come up with something I don't like about it. So, yeah, no, good on him. Hope he does well with it. It's like I said, it's not unique, but it has got a slightly unique thing with the two filters. So, yeah.
There was an interesting question in the chat from Cresshead that said voice 1, 2, 4. Where's voice 3? Don't know. Where's he picking that? Oh yeah, up the top. It's got voice 1, 2, and 4.
I think it's
it's
polyphony,
allocation
isn't
of
it?
the oscillators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's allocation of the oscillators. So if you have it in one voice, it's a 4 oscillator patch, and the oscillators are detuned using the detune knob. So in 2 voices, it's 2 oscillators, and you can play it 2 voice paraphonically. And 4 voice, obviously, there's 4 oscillators. You get 1 oscillator per voice. So
But you can't do
the
3.
assignment of oscillators.
But you can't
do
do
3, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, or is it or 3 stacked and 1?
Yeah.
Just curious how much HP is that? It looks quite large.
It's a desktop.
It's not Eurorack.
desktop.
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay, I only saw a piece of it. So
It looks ripe to be made into a Eurorack module.
It does, doesn't it?
I was
Yeah, it
thinking
has
that too.
Has a bit of Euro sort of look to it, definitely. I
It's
kind of
Eurorack
feel...
About
compatible,
Erebus type
the jack.
size, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't read anywhere where he said that you could pull it apart, because if there's actually
you didn't plan to that. Okay. Right.
yeah, there is
The
connectivity on the
bent
back of
round,
it.
so-
Yeah, so on the back you've got, MIDI DIN and proper 1/4 inch jacks and stuff like that on the back. So yeah, I don't think you'd be able to, but maybe there might be scope in the future for him to do a Eurorack module using the same sort of design. It's a good idea. Awesome. Okay, anyone else before we move on to the next? Cool. Next we go. Next is probably good for Chris to see this one, because there's the back, by the way. Forgot to put that in there. So there you go.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. Next is this from Sonicware, the Lofi-6. So let's have a little. I mean, it's only a 1-minute video, so let's do that first, hey? What the hell happened there? Are you guys just getting like a... Oh, there we go.
First stop.
It's
Ladies'
you're getting the
lingerie.
sound. Yeah. Why did it
Yeah,
stop?
Menswear.
that
Let's go.
video was
Here we go.
Also,
This is the sound of the signal.
People, just a quick thing here. Never do a video for YouTube in Microsoft PowerPoint. I just don't recommend it at all. No, just kidding.
No, you're right, Ranzee, you're right, man.
It did look like it, didn't it, at the start?
It did, it really did.
No,
Yeah.
I think they're definitely going for the humour factor here. So, yeah. So this is another Livin desktop module from Sonicware, if you haven't guessed. The $299, same price as the other ones. This is a limited edition of 500 units, and it's based on the Lo-Fi 12. Okay, so if you're wondering, hey, this looks like it is. It's based on the Lo-Fi 12. The thing that kind of got me straight away when I watched it and heard it is how clean can like a 6-bit sample sound. Like, you're expecting it to sound really crunchy, and it was kind of almost pure. But you could hear the 6-bit crunchiness, but when you start gating it and putting nice effects on it, it sort of gets a little lost, that crunchiness of the 6-bit sample. But yeah, any comments from you guys about that one?
It's definitely the cleanest 6-bit I ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the SK1 was it 8-bit 11 kilohertz or something like that. It was pretty awful sounding, but it worked at the time as a toy, you know. But yeah, they've done some little mojo in there to make it sound much better than what you would expect from that kind of sampling.
Yeah, it's it's got some tube mode, which they showed very, very briefly in the video, that it's supposed to reproduce sort of fat bass and crisp sounds of a vacuum tube amplifier. So this would be like software emulation, right? Yeah.
I keep thinking that since they have the same framework for all their stuff for a certain window of time, they could just do overlays and cartridges and just change the synth with just a couple little doodads, and then it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say I don't want 6-bit samples, if I'm honest. You know, it's this. You know, I am more interested in what Chris has bought. That's the only thing from Sonicware that I'm interested in. This, I have absolutely no interest in this at all.
Apparently, it's 16-bit, but the sample rate is 60 kilohertz.
So it mangles it. It mangles it. Yeah, you're right, Brooksy.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of other things that mangle samples, aren't there? You know.
Oh, absolutely.
The price is good. If it sounds like your sort of thing, price is great, actually. But I definitely don't need this in my armory.
I can't see the point of it at all, if I'm honest.
No.
I really can't see the point. It's like
no, I can't.
It's like what? It just sounds like you're listening to a medium wave radio. No, I just don't. It was mentioned on Pro Synth Network last night that, you know, we've spent a lot of our time and money and effort trying to get away from record, you know, the sound of bloody cassettes. Even cassettes sound better than that. And
Actually, yeah,
so why? No, I know it's a niche thing, but there are ways in which you can degrade the sounds of samples so that they go, in inverted commas, lo-fi. You don't need to spend £400 on a box to do it. And you're certainly not paying the import taxes from the United States because it's
Brooks,
only
you're just not a hipster.
I'm not, Andy. You're dead right. I'm just not down with it.
Just that comment before we made about Sonicware stuff. I personally think this is probably one of their best products that they've made.
Yeah.
Because that
you can make that sound.
That is not a living. That's a different product.
You just need to use it.
Yeah. If you're wondering what that is, it's a sample track. And you can do lo-fi stuff on that. So, yeah.
I'll get mine. Mine's actually plugged in for once. Bloody hell.
Hey!
Yeah, you can make that sound grungy too.
Yep, you can. And it actually does a good job of grungy sounds on that. So, yeah, I kind of feel like as Sonicware, are we kind of just taking a concept and then maybe pumping out too many things of the same, like what Andy said, Synthetic said before, like, are we kind of pumping out too many things of a similar nature that, like, probably could have just been a firmware option that you could do with some overlays or something?
That's a much better idea. And you pay, if you pay a bit more for it to do that, you know, pay another £100 or $100 or whatever, and then, you know, you're able to change it for other modules. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, even some eurorack stuff does that, where you put the little card in there and add a feature or add a whole new thingy to it. So,
well, I mean, yeah, they've been doing it for years, haven't they? Like Roland had cartridges, you know, with their JV series, and just basically completely changed the way your synth was.
The Avalon bassline adds a whole bunch of stuff to it. It's not just a 303.
Yeah, that's a really cool product, the Avalon bassline.
Yeah.
Whenever you read forums and you see lots of videos on YouTube, and there's the Avalon bassline's in sort of in the corner somewhere. There's always someone, what is that product? And everyone goes, oh, that's the Avalon bassline, and it's like, oh, and you can hear it in the music, and it always sounds really, really nice. It's a cool product. Yeah. Let's have a quick look what the chatties are saying about it. Let's have a look. There's a few people sort of saying that they like lo-fi, a few people saying that they don't. So you do kind of get different sort of opinions on it. Yeah. There's so many ways, like what Goo's saying, he can do sample rate on his ASR 10. You know, there's so many different ways we can arrive at lo-fi. You know, I think maybe that's not the purpose of the Lofi 6. I think the purpose of it is more sort of like a desktop sequencer, and you can play with lo-fi sounds, and it might just be an easy way for whoever is interested in that to just grab one of those things and go with it. I don't know. NPCs can do it, Heaps of things can do it. Yeah. Next.
Lots of free plugins out there that'll do that as well.
Anyone else want to comment before we go next? Nope. Next. Cool. Next is this. Yes. No videos of this, obviously. This was a Behringer Facebook leak during the week. So if you're wondering what this is, it's called the Behringer SDS-3, and that should give it away that this is a Simmons drum module type thing, right? So you can even see it in the the details here. So there's not a real lot that we can go off of from what we've read of that. So we probably should have a chat about it. Do you think this is going to be a good product? I mean, who would actually be interested in a Simmons drum machine?
Somebody working in an 80s covers band.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben.
It is a drum synthesizer, so I should probably qualify that. It's not a sample. It's not a sample playing. Like it's not like the Oberheim DMX and so there's you can manipulate it.
And it's analog.
And it's analog. Yeah.
So it's 100% analog. Yeah. I did have a thought about it. I thought, do you think maybe someone has been inspired by the SDS many, many years ago and maybe made eurorack modules with analog drums in them and taken it a little further than that by now? I think they maybe have. Yeah, I looked at it and thought, oh, that's a cool idea. Oh, hang on, no, it's this big. Could I have one of those in
sizes.
this big, please? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks to me like when I first saw it, I thought, oh, but then I realised how big it was, and I was like, yeah, not as interesting now. But I think I'd like to see the circuitry in it breaking out into some kind of eurorack version. Yeah. And there probably are those already out there. If I looked hard enough, I did enough research. I could. And that did cross my mind, along with a billion other eurorack modules I'd like to be. Yes, I did think of that too. The irony of that. They probably just try to hire me, and I'd have to say yes because they throw all this money at me.
Well,
but
I mean, it is based on the original. I mean, if I go, this is a photo of the original, right? So it looks pretty similar. I mean, let's go to the Behringer version. They are quite similar, like with the graphics, the color scheme, everything. They're pretty similar. So yeah, probably even similar in size.
Oh yeah, it's I mean, the whole spirit of it being a clone and taking the same form factor and getting the same vibe. I dig all that, but I guess we're asking Behringer to do something they don't seem to be willing to do, which is to take it into another dimension. Because I think synthesized drums, God, we've got a lot of synthesized drum modules and stuff like that now. I mean, it's not something which we're still like struggling to capture.
Yeah.
Are we still? Because I mean, I kind of think we've been through that and gone beyond.
Yeah,
now to much more interesting tones, but well,
I haven't compared it, but they
we'll
must
see if
have
it
added
turns
a
into a
couple of
product.
tricks, right? Is there anything added to it?
Go back.
Did anyone compare it?
Go back. Why is that not working? We got knob. This probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same amount of knobs. The inputs across the top aren't on.
It's got
the original.
MIDI.
It's got MIDI.
Did the original have MIDI?
No.
No.
Yeah, so they probably tweaked the the mic sense. They'll probably tweak the mic sensitivity so that it's,
Let me see if I can get a
capable, and
side by
they'll
side
probably-
up for you guys. Hang on, this is going to be.
Yeah, or add some extra CV capability so you could do like weird
that-
sweepy stuff and all that.
There's not a lot of CV on there. It does appear.
No. So you're supposed to trigger the sounds using like. Is the mic input? Is that like piezo pickups? Is that what that means?
I just.
Yeah, I
think-
wondered
How
that
it's supposed to be
too.
triggered?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. That's interesting. And there's like
I
a.
think maybe the idea was that you did also it was also capable of sending a regular mic signal to it coming from your drum kit, and they're just trying to replicate that. Did the original have that kind of? It looks like it has kind of a channel chaining thing where you can chain one channel to the next one to the next one. Something weird like that going on.
It does. It has. I'll go to the other one. It does have sliders. You can't really see it because it's backwards, but there is a slider with a little white cap on it down the bottom, well, at the top technically, but down the bottom when you turn it around the right way. There was a rear view of this too. So
It just says channel level on that though.
yeah, but that was kind of what the other one had as well. So it's very similar, and it's almost
External output.
it's almost identical in that sense with the panel configuration. I think there's not a lot of difference in it, but I don't know. Like, how cool was the Simmons drum synthesizer sound? Was it really that groundbreaking? I used to think it was kind of pretty limited, in my opinion, but I could be wrong.
It was very distinctive, wasn't it? Because, I mean, that particular sound, but is that distinct sound part of its, because of its, limitations? It always generated those kind of sounds.
The one that most of us know and love is the SDS-5.
Yeah.
That's the one that really got traction in the 80s and was used by a lot of people. With the hexagonal drum pads that gave you arthritis when you played them, apparently. Well, this is just a brain.
That's it. Yeah, this is just the brain. Yeah.
So this is like the first. I think their first version, and the SDS-5 was an improved version. It had more tweakability on it. So I was surprised they've done it. There is Alex Ball did a video on the SDS-3. Quite a good video on it. So check out Alex Ball's channel if you want to know more about the original Simmons SDS-3.
I thought the SDS-8 was more popular. I could be wrong, but that was the one that kind of looks like a mixer almost. It's flat. Because that's the one I used to see a lot more. Maybe it's just because it was newer. I'm not sure, but yeah,
Possibly.
yeah. But anyway, you needed to have those pads, right? You needed to, you need to be like Kraftwerk and have the CV pads all set up somewhere, and you could bang them, and
Playing a tea tray with.
I was
Mickey
thinking of the
Mouse.
funny riffs and always something there to remind me.
yeah.
I once worked with a drummer who had the SDS-5, and halfway through a gig, it started triggering itself. So he's there holding his sticks up.
They got wet.
The drum things, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Someone
doing its own thing.
Someone
Very
built a
funny.
lager on
It
it.
was really funny. Yeah.
Wasn't me.
I'm pretty sure Kraftwerk had an SDS of some sort. Maybe they had a few of them. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they used them. If you're wondering, like if you're thinking who was a big artist that was pretty big on using these, I'm pretty sure Kraftwerk would be a good place to
Dead
start.
or alive.
Yeah, I think New Order had one.
Yeah.
So, and I think Bernard loved to they'd have Stephen playing his normal drum kit. They'd have the drum machine playing in the background, and it had Bernard banging on these electric toms in the middle of gigs. So this is kind of in their early '80s sort of days.
Ultravox Monument.
Yeah.
At the end of the voice
Yeah.
of Monument, where they do the drum solos with the Simmons pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic. That is
Yeah.
bit of nostalgia. Sorry.
So people in the chat are
So whether or
saying,
not he used it much, Vince Clarke must have had one because he said he loved cheesy synthy drum sounds. So
he probably had everything, didn't he? Some people are saying that they actually would prefer just to have the pads, not necessarily the engine. So maybe that's a...
Good call, Robbie.
I thought in the early...
Landscape, Richard James
Yeah,
Burgess.
yeah, good call, Robbie. Yeah, landscape, brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know, the SDS-8 that you talked about, Ranz, or was it the SDS-X? Was that the one that Underworld used on Underneath the Radar?
Ooh.
Because I remember that as
could have
being
been.
like one of the latest Simmonsy sounding tracks, pop tracks that I've
Could
heard.
have been. Yeah, it could have been.
Until the 80s revival came along, of course. But Underneath the Radar.
Yeah. I don't know how popular that song was internationally though. That it was huge in Australia, but I don't know how popular it was over like in the US. I don't even think. Yeah, because there was a couple of different bands called Underworld, right, over different decades. Right. So we can't be sort of confused about which Underworld we're talking about.
And they were very different.
Yeah.
Kind of genres.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess people are sort of okay with Behringer doing this one, yeah? Yeah.
Definitely okay. Definitely okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dead product, so no.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
What about this? I think this is pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yes. So if you're wondering what this is the Moogerfoogers now on your iOS devices, and that means you can have them on your iPhone and your iPad. If you're wondering what that means, I can't really help you from that point onwards. But if you are like most of us and do like playing with music, I thought maybe I know there's a big iPad person here, and that's Andy. So Andy, have you actually checked these out yet? The Moogerfooger on your... You have. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. What's it like? He's thinking.
He's busy now.
Oh, I can't hear
muted.
you.
Yeah.
Muted.
Oh, sorry, muted. I didn't know I was muted. I was playing with it.
Yeah. Is it usable? Is it good?
We can't hear it.
We can't hear it.
I'm playing with the Freak Box. Yeah, it's excellent. This is running through AUM.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go back to the main window here. Oops. There it is as a punch-in effect on AOM.
Yep.
The yellow guy right there.
Yep.
And it's running an audio file through it. So yeah, you don't have to use it with synths. You can just run audio files through it and tweak the crap out of it. But yeah, it's a steal for the what you get out of it.
What is it? $39.
Yeah.
39 quid.
You get
you
get most of the classic ones. I didn't compare what you're missing yet, but it's pretty impressive, and graphics of course are excellent. All the Moog iOS graphics are always nice.
Yeah.
And sounds great. So it just takes a couple of minutes to set it up.
I'll go to you in a sec, Ian, because I know you got it as well.
Sure.
So Andy, the other thing that I thought was interesting in this, right, was the it's got the virtual CV connectivity, so you can actually have multiple, Moogerfooger modules, and you can patch one from one to another, and that means you can have an LFO going from one to some sort of input on another, and it's kind of like what you do with the actual hardware Moogerfoogers. And one of the things that they were saying about the iOS is that you can do that on that as well as the VST version. So that would be cool. Have you tried that yet?
I have not. No, I've just mainly hey, how does it look? How does it work? How does it sound? I've never actually owned one. I have the software versions that came out with already.
Yeah.
On
never had
on
a
the computer,
one.
but
yeah.
No, I'm stupid not to. I mean, for a while they're brand new, $400 each or less. You get a whole suite of them, and it just kept sitting on it, and then they killed them. So.
Yep. All right. So Ian, you also grabbed them. How did
I
you
did.
think?
1 o'clock this morning I bought it. I mean, I just messed around this morning, and literally I was lying in bed.
How much did you have to drink, Ian?
This stuff. You know me, I don't drink.
Of course.
And all I've done so far is tried some of the presets. I stuck it into GarageBand, and it just, I just put a drum track through it, really. Like Andy with it, put a sample through it, and it's great. I really spent some time with them. I thought, for £40 or $40, it's a no-brainer, really. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And having some of the other apps, because I've got the Model 15 and the Model D and all of that. Moog really know how to make apps. Their software development team are superb, really. When you first look at it in GarageBand, it looks a little small, but you just make it, full screen. It works great, really. It looks great. I haven't loaded it onto my phone, but I probably will do. But to be fair, I very rarely use my phone for music stuff. It's always on the iPad.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I knew.
I thought it was great.
I knew Andy would be into it, so it's cool that you got into it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a shill for iOS stuff. So.
Yeah.
But they're the ones doing. Everyone complains about skeuomorphic. Oh, it's cheesy. Why try to make it look like it when it's not it? It's beautiful graphics, and why not make it look like it? Celebrate it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the semiotics of it are great.
So that aside, the sound is probably the more important part of it, and I actually think they've got some pretty good quality in those effects. And if you're actually thinking about, okay, I'm going to make a track, and let's just say iOS aside, let's just say the VSTs or the AU versions of these, right? And you're using them in your DAW, they're actually some pretty quality effects products there. So I've used them in tracks, and they sound really, really good. Compared to a hardware, I'm like, actually, it's not bad. It's, cheaper and good. Yeah.
They've been doing stuff in their software for quite a while. That, if you guys know the Theramini, that is using Animoog presets. So you can go into Animoog and do similar sounds in there. It's not just a simple theremin circuit. They've been doing stuff with software for a long time.
Yeah. And I have a feeling it was just like one guy that was doing the stuff.
It may well have been,
yeah. I remember talking to someone about it, and don't quote me. Someone might tell me off it's wrong, but I'm pretty sure someone told me it was just one guy doing the stuff at the time at Moog, and I know they've been recently purchased out. But yeah, so they're just finishing off their last bits of projects, I guess, before anything changes down there. Yeah. Anyway, go check it out. It's definitely pretty cheap. There are 8 individual apps, and there will be a bundle soon. Apparently, that's the
bundles aren't now.
There aren't the bundles out now. Okay,
you can get it. Yeah, because I bought the bundle. I think I can't remember how much they were individually, but I wasn't interested in that. I wanted all of them.
Yeah, I think Chris had mentioned that they're $9.99 each.
That's it. That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Fantastic. All right. Next. This. Yeah. Right. There's a really, really cheesy video. They've done it on purpose, but let's have a little quick look at this thing.
Not too sure what that was about. I think the marketing team need to tweak that concept a bit more. Ooh, I've got one. The big things in life mean nothing without the small pleasures. Well, the little pleasures. The mini pleasures?
Come on, stop
It's a
crapping around.
4-voice hybrid, features 2 oscillators with 6 waveforms and an additional 2-operator FM engine. It has a triangle wave, a square wave, a PWM, a saw wave, the infamous super saw wave, and a noise wave. And And one of the really nice touches to this synth is that it's got an authentic 12-bit DAC to really give it that extra bit of vintage mojo. It's got 32 built-in presets, and you can of course create and save your own. And the memory is expandable via the Synth Tribe app. So looking at the front panel, you can see it's powered by USB-C connection, which also gives you USB MIDI connectivity, and next to it, there's the on-off switch. And it can also be powered by smartphone or power bank when you're on the move. Pretty cool. Then you've got the volume control and a 3.5mm output connection, which also doubles as a headphone jack. Then below that, you've got a really fat sounding analog filter. And then you've got the 6 function buttons to access the settings for the 2 oscillators, the dual LFOs, individual envelopes for filter and VCA, then also the built-in arpeggiator, and lastly, the global settings. And it's worth noting that all parameters are controllable via MIDI CC. And then finally, there's the 16-key touch-sensitive keyboard and a high-resolution OLED display to view the parameters, and also that cool little waveform scope. So the final points that are definitely worth a little mention are that it's also a velocity sensitive synth and it has onboard ring modulation. So now let's get to the part I'm sure you've all been waiting for. I've been Patrick, this has been the JT-4000.
Pretty decent sound. I'm pretty impressed with the sound of it for this tiny little thing. It's going to be $49 US. This thing, which is that's like, you know,
I thought it was
crazy cheap.
I thought it was going to be 70 something.
No, so they've just announced that they're going to make it 49. They've just announced on their Facebook channel. And apparently that's their cost price. It's insane.
The Soul Synth would have been 70. Now it's not the Soul Synth anymore.
No. I mean, it sounds great. Price at 49. It's a toy, isn't it, at that price? But it does sound really, really good. I hate the way it looks.
It's ugly.
They basically copied this guy.
It is a copy of the craft synth, isn't it? It's a bit of a Volker, it's a bit of a craft synth, it's a bit of a micro freak. But hey, it's not, the same as any of those. It does have the Roland engine in it, so it's kind of a bizarre product, really, when you think about it. It's
I'm not sure if it has all the parts though. Like there's a feedback oscillator that's part of the JP-8000. I don't know if it has that.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't have all the knobbage for effects. I don't think it's not enough knobs there. And that's one of the magic things in the JP-8000 is live tweaking.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the bitimbral layering, I don't think, which is another cool thing on the JP-8000. So.
Yeah. I
don't think it does have the Roland sound engine in it. It's, they've got some. It's based on, but it's not. I don't think it's the full code stuff for the JP-8000.
No.
It does definitely say there analog filter. Well, the JP-8000 didn't have an analog filter; it was all digital. So, how's this actually working? And they did say in that video, inspired by. So it's not a clone. Clearly, it's not a clone because it's only that big. The JP-8000's a big bugger. So
I always went with the JP-8000 or the desktop version.
I just think 49 quid for a little thing that sounds like that. I mean, yeah, they're going to sell bucket loads of them, as ugly as it is.
Yeah, they're going to sell.
Because people don't really care. They're just,
People are going to buy them as
these are great
Christmas presents,
sounds.
aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Get your grandson one for Christmas.
I mean, it's going to be a super saw machine, right? I think that's the whole purpose of it. The other stuff is kind of rudimentary, but I think the main job this thing's going to be pumping out super saw sounds, and those people who like that 90s super saw sort of sound, they'll love this thing.
They'll lap it up.
Also, you're missing the performance thing because
the
the ribbon on the JP-4000 is excellent, as well as the long travel modulation stick instead of that little dinky where you barely move the modulation on the Junos.
Yeah,
it has a wonderful long travel stick. So
what does it do on the Junos again, Andy? Sorry, I'm. Oh, okay. just checking. Is that what yours does?
No subtlety at all.
That's a technical term, Brooksy.
Yeah.
There's a meme if I've ever heard one.
You mean that push button
a little bit?
Ah, that lovely sound.
Okay.
That sounds like it.
It's been years since I've touched a JP-8000. I haven't had one in my hands for a long time. But
that's a keyboard, folks.
I don't think
I can't see.
I don't think I've ever played one actually. I'm just trying to think. I never owned one. Certainly, I'm trying to think if I played in the studio with one, but I don't remember one.
Okay,
I've
back then, and I didn't. I went for the whatever this thing is that's next to me. What's it called? Supernova, Novation Supernova, because it was multi-timbral. You know, more voices, multi-timbral, more effects. I just went. You know what? I'll spend that bit more, and I'll get the Supernova. And you know, I don't have regret at all saying.
Funny enough, Andy, I was like between the Supernova, the JP-8000, and I couldn't afford both, so I ended up getting a second-hand AM1X.
Yeah. I mean, all those machines are really good for what they do. End of. You know, I mean, they might say that they're a bit dated in some ways, but why? They just sound like synths to me. I can never understand that. You know, but they're great machines. I mean, I do think, in spite of it all, I think that of those three, the JP-8000 was almost certainly the easiest one to program. The Supernova, it can be absolutely baffling sometimes because it's got so many buttons, and you've got to press a button and assign it to an LFO, and then you assign the LFO to the oscillator that you want it to modulate, and then you realise it needs. It can be a bloody menace.
Yeah, Cresset's got it right. It says it's like the Behringer version of the Korg Monotron, and it is, isn't it? It's exactly that sort of size.
It's that idea. Yeah,
it's really small, really small.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. Like, I always liked the JD-800 more than the JD-8000. I don't know why. I just kind of liked the fact that it was
totally
more
different machine, though.
I know but for me,
it's a different beast.
That was sort of what I used to sort of get stuck with. I was like, yeah, I don't know.
The thing with that Behringer though is I've been going around going, I've lost my keyboard, and people are saying, what do you mean you've lost your keyboard? I've lost my keyboard. It's like a Roland JP. You've lost that. I'm like, it's only about this big.
Hang on, which pocket did I put it in?
Yeah,
it's gone in the wash.
But it's pretty much the size. It's pretty much the size of my phone, isn't it?
It is. It's tiny.
Yeah.
So for those wondering at home, what does a JP-8000 look like? That's what a JP-8000 looks like.
Very lovely.
It is a beautiful synth. Apologies for my dog snoring in the background. God, he's getting loud. Wow. You right there? We're dreaming about something. So who's going to buy one of these? Half the world, probably.
I've got to try it. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go for it. I've got birthday money to spend, so I could buy two of them, but I'm not gonna buy one.
Just don't need it. That's the problem. It's not going to add anything. That's the thing.
No.
The problem is it's so small, it's not heavy enough to be a proper doorstop. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The thing for me, the thing that's missing, I guess, is and I probably didn't do it because I didn't want to get sued by Korg, is that the attraction. If you guys rewind the clock and think back to when the Volcas first came out, there was a distinct attraction to them because the first ones that they brought out were analog. They had the sequencer in it. It was kind of, it was kind of like a very sort of unique product. There wasn't anything else
got a lot
like it.
going for it.
Yeah. This kind of needs it. I feel like it's missing something. It needs maybe a bit of a Volca, sequence thing. It does have a sequencer in it, but it doesn't look like. It might just be like the MS-101 sequencer from the the SH-101 clone type thing. It might be very basic. I think it's kind of missing something. There's like what Andy, you said about how it's missing a whole bunch of JT-4000 stuff on it. I think it's also missing some of the performance stuff on there, like the sequencer side and parameter locks or something.
A lot of people are just going to run that over MIDI, aren't they? End of story. It'll be a little sound module. Boom, stick it somewhere out of the way.
Yeah. So I'll tape it to your little key step.
Yeah, maybe.
You swing.
Well, you've got to have something to hold your MIDI cables with. Might as well hang it off a synth, eh?
Oh, well, that's true.
Well,
we'll pull the thing over.
On that huge disappointment, that is basically it for products and news. By the way, this week, so we've got through it. I don't know how Behringer do it, but they managed to become newsworthy each week somehow.
But when will this one be out? Because
it's shipping now.
It's out already.
It's out already. This is why we're showing it.
We've
We've shown it before.
It's going to dealers. I think it's next month over. It'll actually be in the shops.
Well, didn't they promise that thing last year? So they're making news because they're actually delivering on products they promised. So.
I kind of feel like that's political too, what they're doing there.
Yeah. Well, we know that. I mean, Behringer.
What was it? Was it the JV or something? What was slightly bigger one?
No, there's the VS. There's a VS one that's out as well.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. But is that actually out? Because I thought it wasn't available till January 24th.
Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah, that's shipping. That's shipping.
That was last week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Behringer do things that other companies don't do, insofar as they say, well, we've been working on this. We've got this idea. What do you reckon? And they're floating them as ideas and get the feedback, and people go, yeah, that's great. Yeah, we want it. And and then from that point, it's obviously going to take a while before it actually comes to the shops. Whereas other companies don't do that. They go, here's our new product.
Yeah. Well, Behringer announced this week that they were thinking about doing the Mutator. It'll be that sort of desktop format.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm still going. Darren's probably going to be with me here on this. I'm still thinking like, just keep doing the innovation stuff, like, because they're actually not too bad at it. Like, there's some things that they're doing innovation-wise I think are pretty good. So keep doing that. Or if you're going to bring out something that's a recreation of an existing product from the 80s or 70s or whatever, make it better. Like, bring something modern to it. The Pro 800 is a decent recreation. So that's going to be quite divisive though, because the people will be saying, well, sequential is still around, but they don't make the Prophet 600 anymore. They haven't for a long time. It was dropped pretty quickly because it was a bit of a flop. But with the Glee mod and the fast envelopes, and it's a different synthesizer. Once you actually apply the different envelopes in that thing, it sounds like a different synthesizer. It's really, really important that you get envelopes right when you're designing a synth. If you put the original envelopes in, it sounds like a Prophet 600. But if you use the Glee envelopes, it sounds like a different synth. It sounds more like a Prophet maybe, or Prophet 5 maybe, something like that, or maybe a Prophet 6 even. So they do good things, but aren't necessarily their own ideas, but come up with their own ideas I think it's better. This is really bizarre, this product. So it's kind of their own idea, but it seems like it's almost like it's a mixing bowl of a whole bunch of other companies' ideas, and this is what's popped out. Maybe it's even like, dare I say, it's even like some sort of AI rendition that they've played with and gone, what synth would come out if you mixed a...
You reckon they typed that into ChatGPT and went, oh, here we go.
So...
Press reiterate, please.
Although if I were in high school, I would love something like this because it's just so damn cheap. I mean, I remember buying an SK1 in high school, brand new for like $90 or whatever, and the sampling was okay on it, but other than that, it was pretty crap for any kind of other sounds. And this thing sounds halfway decent for $50,
Yeah.
So,
well, for me in high school, I couldn't afford a synthesizer, so the closest thing that I got to synthesizers was playing with Commodore 64s and Amigas. That's all I could get myself, close to. It's a bit sad, but later on when I had a job and I could go out and buy a Roland, that was the 90s. So the 80s,
high school was making like $5 an hour, so it's like it doesn't go that far.
And I mean, when I was a kid, I used to work at what you call in the US Burger King. It's called Hungry Jack's over here, but it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. Right? I was at a video store.
Yeah, I used to work at Burger King, the equivalent of, and God knows how little we got paid as a 14, 15-year-old kid, And even with that, it was probably only enough just to sort of cater for my cassette / later on in the 80s CD habit that I was getting, building my little collection. So that was where all my money went. It just went on buying, the latest Ultravox album or Depeche Mode or, whatever that came out in the 80s. It was... who could afford a synth? And then you watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and he's got this friggin' emulator in his bedroom.
Too.
Well, I was still heavily into taping stuff off the radio back then. Oh, it's on! Hurry, record it! Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was doing that too. Mixtapes. Yeah.
Yep.
And you'd give one to your friends. You say, "Oh, I've done this mixtape. You like this one?" Yeah.
Oh, you cut off the beginning. Get another one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it again. That's it. All right.
You tape you have to turn over.
What have the chatties been saying? I was kind of keeping a left eye on the chat as that we showed that Behringer product, so they were sort of saying some interesting things. I can't scroll back, unfortunately, but yeah. Wagoo's saying down the bottom here, I don't mind the goal of a $49 synth, but he thinks it should have had TRS MIDI and not try and pass it off as a JP-8000. I think that's a marketing ploy. I think, Yeah.
I'm not going on TRS MIDI.
It's very polarizing, that TRS MIDI thing. There are people that love it, and there's people that hate
standards.
It. Yeah. We talked about
there's
that
two standards,
last
exactly,
week, didn't we? Yeah.
I'm not even sure whether.
Yeah. But this USB-C has, apparently it's fully class compliant MIDI, so why do you need TRS? You could just plug it in. The problem, I understand, the problem with some people is they've got too much USB stuff, right? And so there's a limit to how many things you can connect up to your computer. Right, there is definitely your USB serial bus on your chip on your computer, the chipset that runs all the USB devices will have definitely a data I/O limit that it can handle, and then things start going wrong. Right, you get delays, you get things disconnecting, you get things playing up. So I can understand why Wagoo was saying that he would prefer to have TRS, because then he could connect it up to a different type of, MIDI routing type system that he might have.
Well, also go right to real hardware. You don't have to touch a computer. So.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing. So.
Yeah. All right. We're going to change tacks, and we're going to hit another segment, which I need to go find the video for it. Where is it? I always lose it. There it is. This is it here. Why don't we go across to this segment? Everybody loves it. what the hell is happening? 2 weeks in a row, have we got another Name That Synth? This is amazing. Guys, if you have an idea of bringing one of these in, do it, because there's people out there who are definitely really, really interested in this. So this one has come in, not by me. It's come in from a what do you call it? A viewer. Subscriber, yeah. So once again, it's a submission that comes out of the blue. And I love these because it surprises me, and I think it's going to surprise you guys. So if you're wondering, if you're new, you don't know what Name That Synth is, this is where we're going to sit and back and we're going to watch a small video. And while we're watching it, we're going to have to try and guess what the synthesizer is, right? But we have to use our ears and maybe use our eyes a little bit. There might be some hints there with the visuals. You get one guess. You can have many guesses, but your first guess is the official guess. And then once the time is up, that's it. We will go and see if anyone's got it correct. Now, I have been told that this week the entry is going to be a little easier than some of the ones that we've had in the past. So you're probably going to have to get in quick if you're thinking about trying to guess this one. That's a bit of a hint for you. So up for grabs is a copy of Unify by Plugin Guru, who are the sponsors of this segment. So big thanks to Skippy. And Unify is a great product, and we'll talk about that a little bit on the other end. Okay, so sit back. I'm going to mute everyone here, and we're just going to hear the video and put your entries in via the live chat as we go. Unfortunately, if you're watching this on replay, just sit back and enjoy it anyway. All right, here we go. Let's mute us all. Wow, I have lost the countdown thing, so we'll just do a 30-second countdown. Put your entries in, everyone. I don't know where that little video's gone. Anyway, it's there somewhere. We're getting close to finishing the 30 seconds. It's probably not quite 30 seconds, but look, let's go to the chatties. Let's put in time is up, hey? Time is up. Done. Right, let's go across the chatties. Oh, that's not the button. That's not the button. That's the button. There we go. Okay, we've got some entries there. We can see my time is up. Do not guess it past. Yeah, FBO1. Right, let's go and find out what it is. Ready, set, here we go. Ooh.
Oh, who got it with the S on the end?
Yeah.
Himalayan Voices did, but who was first? Who was
Brett Lemmings.
first
I suspect Brett is a typo. When I'd look, K5KS, Brett Lemmings. Brett Lemmings is in there with K5KS.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett Lemmings is also a previous winner, so he can't win twice.
Bugger off then, Brett.
Yeah.
Himalayan Voices.
Yeah. Himalayan Voices was the first who got the S.
We missed the S's off, Andy.
So we do actually have a Rigid Edge winner here. That's Himalayan Voices. So
There is a keyboard version without the S, though, I think.
Let me
So
see.
that's why I was confused, because I have the rack mount.
Let me see if I can... I can highlight this. Beautiful. And we can add it to here. And then we can press this button. There's the entry. There is the entry in all of its glory. Well done to Himalayan Voices. Now, all you need to do is... I don't even know why it's on that. It should be on this. I don't know why Brooksy was special then. Brooksy, you're not special. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he is. He's very special.
Just kidding, Brooksy. Head on over to the website, ranzee.com, and click on the link which says Name That Synth. This is for Himalayan Voices. Anyone else who does it, bad luck, you're not going to miss out. But go down to the bottom and you'll see a form that you can fill out. Just fill out your details there and it will send through the entry through to me, and I can then organise to get that copy of Unify to you, which is awesome. Now, speaking of Unifier, let's give them a little plug. I'm going to sneeze. There we go.
Shoo.
It's been setting out in the rain with kids at sport. It's probably getting to me. There we go. Plugin Guru. Let's get this up quickly because we have to give them a nice little wrap for their awesomeness. Okay, here we go. So Plugin Guru, massive amount of libraries for your synths and your plugins and stuff like that. And Skippy does a great job. But Unify is actually this product here. And what it does is it does a lot of stuff. But the main thing it does, it's really good at managing lots of different VST synths under one sort of application. And then you can layer them. You can get libraries and patches. People have contributed to these as well. It's just a really cool way of coming up with some sort of unique sound. So that is Unify from Plugin Guru. Awesome. There we go. Okay, Name That Synth, it's done. Who enjoyed that? I thought that was good. Now,
Yeah.
the person that sent the entry in was Mark, who sent the entry in last week. So
When you're on a roll, you know what
you're
it's
on a roll.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if you do want to send an entry in and you liked, what you saw, it does get easier as you do a couple of them. You could the same website, same page, and it will show you what you need to do to send your entry in. So, well done to Mark, and I probably need to scroll down on the chat to find out what people have been saying. Yeah. So, well done. Awesome. Okay, what have we got next to do? We have got this next to do. Ooh. Yes, this is an interesting week of auctions, I think, this week. And these are live. So this week, I don't think there's any scammy sort of things. These are just sort of, hey, these are interesting auctions, right? This one I thought was very interesting, considering that there is an ARP axe on eBay with an original anvil case included, which to some people may actually be quite interested in this. This will probably go, at the moment it's sitting on $213 US. I know it says 207 minutes because that's a graphic.
The case is probably worth that.
Yeah. It ends in 4 days. So these things will pump up in price. But let's have a look at some photos anyway. Let's go to the thing. You've got the original patch cards. Some, bits and pieces there. And the case. And, it's... So the axe is kind of like a cut down Odyssey, really, if you want to sort of go there.
Just single oscillator.
Yeah. But still, there were people that really rated this synth. So it may be something that you are after, which is why I'm showing it. And there it is in all of its glory with all the different coloured sliders. Isn't that cool? Some missing. One of them's missing. One of them's snapped off, I think. And there's a few cap covers missing on that too.
Wood is chipped.
Yeah, and the wood's chipped. But yeah, there we go. That's the first one. So yeah. Jump onto that. The links to all these auctions, by the way, are definitely going to be in the blog article. So you guys, if you do want to bid on these, you can find them in the article. Okay, anyone actually here, while I'm at it, does anyone in chat or anyone here on the, the calling video thing here, has ever owned or used more than 5 seconds, at a shop, an ARP axe? No. Okay.
Never even seen one.
I have never seen one in real life either. But I've seen plenty of videos and things, with people on YouTube, but never. A bit of an ARP. I'm a bit of an ARP head, though. You guys know that. All right. Next. What is next, everyone? Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Right. So this one I had to show. You know what? I've got a bit of some sort of fatal attraction to these synths. So yes. At the moment, this is in Australian dollars. I don't know why, but anyway, halve it for pounds. So that's actually not too bad, considering it's got the mod grip and it's blue, right? Now, this is a live reverb page, so we'll go to that. Here we go. So we can actually have a look at some of the close-up photos.
It's nice condition.
It's in need of a clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does need a bit of a clean. I love that blue color though.
But it's slightly metallic, isn't
yeah,
it? It's lovely.
got the metallic.
Oh yeah, well, it's got a wonky slider. Yeah, that happens to them as well.
Yeah, or it's been hit. I think that looks like it's been hit. Like it's like someone's had something slide across, or it's been lent against or something. Yeah, there's a few chips on it. But yeah, these. I mean, considering when you think about it, these things were made of plastic. I don't think Roland ever expected these things to last 30-ish plus years, right? That's definitely that they were made technically as a budget synth, really, using that Curtis oscillator. So,
well made though, actually. The SH101 was very well put together.
Yeah. Now, what's the page that I want to get for this?
Hey, Ranzee, if you have time for one more, I put one in private chat. I forgot to send it to you earlier.
Okay, we might have time. We might. I just need to log into my website for a sec because I want to try and find... now, as you guys know, I have been keeping track of the SH101 prices over many, many years. And one of the things that I used to do in this show is I used to show you guys a graph. And here it is. It's a bit out of date, but it's relatively recent. It goes up to May. There you go. So I'm a couple of months out.
Not too bad.
So that goes to show you, like, trending across, and this is in US dollars, by the way, trending across a year and a bit. You've got, oh no, not quite a year. There you go. You've got what the pricing is doing on both Reverb and eBay. And sometimes you see there's no eBay. That's because those months there was no eBay sales for that particular synth. So yeah. What you can see from that though is that it's pretty kind of stable. Like it hasn't, like you. Yeah. One of the things that we were looking at when we originally started this tracking of the prices, right, was did the Behringer clone affect it at all? And one of the things that we quickly discovered is that it probably made it go up in price more than affecting the sales of the used prices anyway. So
it does say on your graph, it says DX7 prices.
Oh, sorry, that's just a typo. It is SH101.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just a typo. Sorry, I'm also in the middle of tracking tracking DX7 prices as well, but I haven't actually finished doing that. It is SH101 prices. So yeah, yeah. So that one is kind of within that price range. Okay. At the higher level, but you'd expect one with the mod grip and that sort of stuff to be at that sort of level anyway. All right. I'll get to yours in a sec, Andy. I've just got to do I think there's one or two more to go. There's two more to go. So there's the Sinton Phoenix 1.
Oh, Phoenix, yeah.
Ooh.
Phoenix.
Ooh.
Wow.
Right.
Ooh,
these are pretty
nice.
rare. I don't know a lot about them. Do you know about it, Andy?
Yeah, they made.
Oh,
I'll just say they made a bunch of different stuff.
go
It's
on,
a
Andy.
Dutch company, I believe, and they had Syrinx was a famous one that Aphex Twin loved. Very rare one. This is another one of theirs. It's pretty interesting. I have a Syrinx voice filter module from a Eurorack, but this one they mentioned this in one of the was a Super Booth video a while back. These guys are coming back with some new products, and they were talking about this one again, but I don't remember a lot of specifics on it.
Yeah, there's a Phoenix 1 and there's definitely a Phoenix 2. I can't remember the name of the company that's making them. Oh, it's going to irritate me. But you're right, they were at Super Booth. They were also at one of the American shows as well. Knobcon, I think. Yeah. Oh, I wish I could remember more.
Well, this is
I want to say WMD, but I don't think it was.
This is made.
Never seen any of their stuff
made
over
in the
here.
Netherlands.
It's not very common.
By the Sinton team, this particular one anyway.
But the Syrinx is really cool. It has some great. It's named after the Bird's vocal apparatus called the Syrinx, the voice box, and
cool.
It's like a bird, it's got a lot of variety in it. So the Phoenix might be similar. I can't remember the specs on it.
Yep. All right, and the last one is the Waldorf Rack Attack. I didn't even know about this thing.
Waldorf Rack Attack. Never
It's
heard of that.
it's a digital drum synth. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Wagoo's probably got it in his rack. But this is it. This
Come
is
on,
it.
Wagoo, tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
Rack
never heard of
Attack.
that at all.
It's a drum.
No, I
unit,
mean,
isn't it? It's a drum
Yeah,
synth.
it's a digital drum
Yeah.
synth. Yep.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of them.
Interesting user manual.
As your head says, it's a great drum synth, and there's a plugin as well. Cool.
Yeah, I've seen the plugin.
Oh, it's got multiple outs on the back. That's always good. MIDI. There you go. So what's that one worth?
Cool.
Currently sitting at 500 US, and you can buy it now for 700 US. I don't know if that's good, bad, indifferent, or what. Let me see if I can get
Nobody's
this,
doing
one of
that,
yours
no.
up, Andy. How did you send it to me?
Cool.
Private chat. vMix.
Okay. Where is that? Got it. Oh, okay, yes. I did actually see this. Wow. We were talking about these things last week. Okay, let's get this one up. Give me a sec, I need to put it in my link thing here. Okay. Alright, so there is one more, and this one's brought to you by Andy.
Mr. Synth Addict.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Here we go. It's taking a while for this to load for some reason.
Give it a quick shove, Ranzee.
Bit's getting clogged up.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's owned by Jimmy Jam and Lewis.
Jam Lewis's.
Figure it's a good time to bring this up since Robbie's going to have Anthony Marinelli on soon, Mr. Synclavier.
Cool.
So,
That looks
you can
wonderful,
actually see
doesn't it?
these in action in Laurie Anderson's Home of the Brave. It's like the whole concert's on YouTube from 1985. Really, really crazy concert.
Yeah, I've checked that out, Andy. It was that was good.
It's nuts. I mean, she does like a drum pants
Yeah.
kind of thing, and she does the MIDI violin and a bunch of weird vocal stuff, and yeah, it's a trip.
Multi-talented.
Does it come with all the other bits and bobs? Like the
computers.
the computer mainframe and the monitors? And...
There were a lot of pictures with it.
The filing cabinets.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, guys, the buttons
It's got
on
the
this,
meter bridge and the filing. Yeah.
right? The buttons on this, I nerd out on this stuff, right? They literally, you can go in and edit partials and, you know, nerd out on all the different things. This has got the little...
It has an
unit
expander on
above.
the top. Did you
Yep.
see that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they're going into detail with that. Now you've got the software with the
Oh, you have got
computer.
all that. Yeah.
Wow. This is a full setup.
nice.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be a pretty good purchase if you could afford it. Wow, this would be cool fun. I mean, this thing would have been insane to play with. Look, direct disk storage.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ancient tech.
Just
The old CRT
think of your
screen.
electricity bill every time you switch it on.
There we go. Michael Jackson in the background. And then
Simon Alexander has.
you can
has
you
one
can
with
buy
an
this,
echo to
Andy,
it.
just so that you can get the Beat It sound. That's why you buy one.
Actually, I have the album I suppose I got that from. There's the whole thing about now that they took the sample right off the album, that blue demo album. They didn't actually use a real Synclavier.
What was that? There was that video that they released recently where they were like nerding out on how they programmed
That's
it.
it.
And, yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
video he talks
Yeah.
about, he thinks they took it right off the album. They didn't even.
Yeah.
That wasn't even played on the Synclavier. They actually just took the sample right out. I bought that album on eBay many years ago. It's a transparent blue vinyl.
I mean, that's what I was thinking too when I was watching that video. It's like, I don't think MJ nerded out on synths like that. Like, I don't think he went into all the parameters and started going, oh, hang on a minute. If I change this sine wave to a little bit more of that, it will kind of resonate against this harmonic. I don't think he did that. Do you know what I mean? At 50,000 hertz. Or
I doubt he was an FM programmer, yeah.
yeah. I don't think so. And, I mean, maybe one of the guys that worked for him in the studio might have, but, I mean, that was always a possibility, right? So,
Well, all the guys who worked on that, Boddicker and Porcaro and all those guys worked on that album. The album is crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Quincy, the Quincy.
And Quincy, yeah.
Yeah. The Quincy days. But, I mean, this is not about him. This is about a 50,000-60,000 pound Synclavier with all of the fruit with it. Yeah. I mean, that'd be a pretty cool purchase, to be honest. Like, yeah.
Should be in a museum, shouldn't it?
Oh,
Should
absolutely.
be bought by a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a nightmare to repair. You'd have to have a Kent down your street, just in case.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Kent, by the way.
Hope you're getting better, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm shouting
Yes,
out to
indeed.
him.
Yep.
Right, so we've gotten through all the segs, and on the flip side, who enjoys the segments, by the way? You guys like them? Really worth it?
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
Good. It's worth the pain then. Okay.
Something to prattle up about.
Yeah. Shall we crap on about this thing from AMSynths? I think that's probably the next question, right? Is anyone interested in this?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So what this is basically when you had a 2500 in the old days, right? There was a way that you could patch the matrix, and it gave you the possibility to trigger the multi-mode resonant module, which was the 1047, using your keyboard, and it would filter track and all that sort of stuff, right? But you couldn't do it without this way of patching. Now, what this eurorack module does is it brings the matrix, some of the matrix electronics in. It gives you it's got its own, it's like its own trigger built in, and you'll see it'll send a pulse, which is what helps this actually do its filter tracking on it. So why don't we get some sort of sound happening on this? Now I'm going to need another cable to go from the, we'll do the, which one's that? The band pass. We'll do the band pass into in B. We'll turn in B up. Okay, now we need to get my computer connected to this thing somehow. How can we do that?
With a MIDI cable.
Yeah, let's go to Ableton. I'll create a new live set now. I'm just going to connect it up to the Arturia key step, and we'll go in, and then we'll go out to the FH2 module, which should, if we are correct, so that's registering. So here we go. We're now seeing gates, right? That's always good. That little blue light there, and you can even see on the module its little LED there. It's triggering. Okay, so now we need to get sound coming in. Okie dokies. And I need to just do one little trick to this because it's a DC controlled digital input, and I need to do the DC offset on this baby. Otherwise we'll get... Okay. Here we go, we got sound. Now we need to get it to track, right? So, okay, so how you connect it up is underneath here. Let's pull these out for a sec. They're all labeled, right? This is actually really, really simple. So these are all labeled to correspond to the actual the inputs on this module. So input goes to input. That goes to that. That goes to that. Do you see? So it's really, really very simple. You can't sort of stuff this up. But watch me, I'll stuff it up. Anyway, you can't really stuff it up, right? So they go to those. And the gate comes from, you know, any sort of keyboard gate. And you've also got your pitch coming from your keyboard pitch. Okay, so that's where those are. Now we just need to get this to respond to a tune. Now how do we do that? Okay, and this thing is being released by this envelope generator here, which is this one, so I can make this longer. Alright, so what I said I was going to do is I was going to make this other envelope generator over here control it. Okay, so we probably don't need that gate to go there. We can go here instead. So my gate in would be... I can't see, my microphone's in the way. Let me move that out of the way. There. And I'm just getting another cable into here. Actually, maybe we don't do this. We'll just go. Oops, don't click onto that. Let's get the gate straight in from the keyboard. Okay, cool. And next thing we want to do is control this over here with the output. So we need a longer cable for that, which I'm trying to find. Here we go. So normal output into CV2, and then CV2 can now control instead of CV1. Okay, now we're getting a gate. Okay, but we can't hear anything, right? Why is that? Why can't we hear anything? It's triggering. It's triggering that. But that's not triggering that. Why is that? Oh, I know why. Okay, cool. BCA. Here we go. And we've got effects having... Take the effects off. And let's get this louder for you guys. Okay, that one is fine tune. That one's the... There we go. Now it's tracking.
Hey, it's Gershon Kingsley.
All right, let's put an arpeggiator on this. Make it sound some weird stuff. Okay. Now we can play with this a little bit. So you can take that snappiness out by... or you can make the envelope longer. That's really quiet, isn't it? Well, that's distorting now. Here we go, faster.
I like that.
A little bit of delay on it now. I like how it's distorting a bit. Let's add some resonance in this.
This is Robbie's favorite part of the show.
Well, he's only using sine waves. That's what FM uses.
Oh, I love that snappy sound. And you can get it to sort of do kicky sort of sounds.
I missed the name of the module again. What's the name of it?
It's just called AM1047K.
Okay.
Just there. Just there. So there you go. So that's with a snappy envelope and pitch control and CV control, and yeah, I mean, like, why would you use it? There's a million different reasons why you would use it, but I mean, on the 2500 modules, you already got a sine wave on the oscillator, so you may think to yourself, well, I've already got a sine wave. Do I need another sine wave? But you could probably achieve the same thing. Like if I go back to this, you could probably achieve the same thing from using the sine wave here, right? And just put that into the filter. But this filter is actually very resonant, so you know, technically we could probably get that to sound even more resonant than what it is. I'm not sure if it'll, but you get some real sort of clicky, snappy, resonant sounds, like wet sounds, and you're just kind of mucking around with it.
Hey, Rance.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the term twin T? It's a Roland circuit. Twin T oscillator, it's called.
Rings a bell.
Rings a bell. It's basically a technical term for their circuit design that they used in a lot of their drum machines, for example, particularly the 808, to create the kind of resonant bass drums. It's basically that circuit which creates a kind of a sine wave, but you give it an impulse.
Yeah.
And it generates that. It's basically, I expected that module was going to sound a bit like that, and it does sound very similar.
Well, you can get it to sound like an 808 kick, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it has a bit more of a range because you're
absolutely.
really tweaking that.
Yeah. So you can get it to be musical, and then you can get it to be percussive. But it probably shines less in the musical side than it does. It shines more in the percussive side. So if you, like we were talking about that Simmons drum synth before, right? If you're sort of really wanting to nerd out on getting some, real drummy sort of analog sounds, this is kind of an interesting way of doing it on here, I think. But yeah, snappy envelope would definitely help. So that's why I chose the Frequency Central one. The 2500 envelope is actually pretty snappy on its own. So you can, like I've got this plumbed in. I could get that to trigger, and I didn't think it was too bad. It is pretty snappy, but this is just super, super snappy. This is like insanely, like you're just getting some beautiful resonant clicks out of that. So that's kind of why I like that. Was there any sort of comments from the chatties? Why does that keep doing that? Stop doing that. You guys got a question about the I just ran a random ARP on it, so don't worry about what I was doing. It was just trying to trigger the different pitch sounds just to sort of hear you guys, so you could hear the different sounds coming through it at the same time as it being percussive. But like once you start playing with it, you want to put a sequence through it. You'd probably want to put a beat through it or something like that. So that's it's going to be more rhythmic. It's going to be more At first I was sort of just playing. You can just play your notes from your keyboard on this thing. And you can kind of have that sort of tuned bass sound kick.
That's cool. Yeah, I was curious, since you have all the 2500 modules, are you thinking about getting the tip-top Buchla modules?
Maybe. I'm starting to enjoy the sine wave.
Yeah.
And Buchla, you
cool,
really
you can
have
fit them all on a Mantis case.
You have to really love the sine wave.
modules.
Buchla is a love of the sine wave, really, isn't it?
Well, wave folding and low pass gates and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So the AM side of the world, yeah.
Source of uncertainty is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like for me, I went through sort of the stage this year where I felt like I was too distracted with some of the gear that I had, so I sold it off. I mean, I was selling it off for two reasons. I had to pay off a debt. That kind of motivated me, but there was other ways I could have paid off the debt. Didn't have to sell my gear, but I felt that was actually a cleanse. And what that's done is it's helped me sort of hone in more on just keeping the gear that kind of really sort of resonates with me better. And then as I'm using it, I'm getting sort of to know it better, and I'm understanding it better. And I feel like if I keep adding new gear, I'm going to be back to where I was becoming too distracted. Darren, you kind of felt like that too, didn't you, with your stuff? You kind of felt distracted.
Yeah, that's what. Well, apart from not having any money, but that's why I've not really bought anything. I mean, I bought the little Roland, the compact one, but
yeah.
Oh, by the way, Chris, that was one of the ones I've told Andy. It was that, when you were guessing your synths, it was a bit dark. It was that one. Yeah. So you were sort of right. You muted.
The S1?
And the S1.
That's not the S1, it's the... Oh, okay, that's the S1. Oh,
it was the S1.
So I had it right here, and I thought it sounded vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's the jam synth or
so
whatever it is.
You're close. You were close. Right and not right, in a way.
I just assumed it would be something
just
bigger.
Hold that.
No.
Hold up one of those modules again, right?
The little blue one. Right.
Like the industrial design of the Roland stuff. Just look at that, right?
It's so good.
And then look at that.
Yeah. It's.
Let's go back to that.
Down, that's better.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's just it's a completely different world, isn't it? Yeah, you can hold it. You can get it in sore arm now, mate. You can put it down.
Yeah, that's
But it's only
I totally
$49.
agree, Rance. I totally agree, Rance. The same thing with the S1. It's like, even though it's made of plastic, it's kind of really good quality plastic and really nicely designed.
Yeah, it's
solid. Yeah, it's rock solid.
All that Roland R&D, they got to
stuff.
charge you though.
They do.
I mean, that's what they do.
But having said that, I mean,
I do appreciate it.
I'm not dumping on Behringer completely, because the System 100 stuff, I think, looks amazing. You know, they probably had a design to start with from Roland that helped them, but the System 100 modules, they look beautiful in your Eurorack. So, you know, it's one of those ones when you look at your setup and you go, oh, that looks nice. So, but then again, it is originally a Roland design. So they have really good industrial design, those guys. Who do you guys like in terms of industrial design? Like, when you've bought synths over the years, like, who is your favorite sort of manufacturer for industrial design?
Axel Hartmann.
I've not bought the synth, but I've always wanted one.
Yeah, Axel Hartmann.
The Varoma DMX, the drum machine.
Oh,
I've always
yeah.
wanted one of them.
The Gaz Williams used to go Burko over, right?
Yeah.
He absolutely loved those things. Yeah. It's pretty simple design, the Varoma, though, isn't it?
It's very simple. It's
You're
very
muted, Ian.
it's just really nice, and it's
Sorry
it's
about
basically a drum machine at the end of the day. But it's a drum synth, isn't it? It's not a drum machine. It's a drum synth. So, but yeah, I've always fancied one of them. But the cost.
Yeah.
But it's built.
I like the design of the Soma Lara 8. It's chunky. It's quite industrial, isn't it? Depends which colour you get, I suppose, really.
That's the Varoma.
Yeah.
And if you notice, there's no lights on it. It's just full of knobs.
I think there is one
Lots of-
light on
Place
the
your comment
left-hand
there.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of knobbage. You can't beat a bit of knobbage.
lots of knobbage.
Yes, innuendo.
And what was the one that you suggested? Sorry, Ian?
It's
just not got the
Lara
knobbage.
8.
The Lyra 8, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends. Like I said, it depends on which colour you get. I'm not that good on the orange version, but
Which one do you want?
Yeah, I'm not either.
The shocking
White?
pink one.
Should we go white? White looks pretty.
Actually, the white one's nice. Actually,
White one looks
the
really,
white one is nice,
really
actually.
nice.
White's nice. I have a white one.
All right, so that's
I got a matching pipe and Lyra.
So that's Ian's choice there. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, closely followed by the blue. I think the blue's
That's-
quite nice as well.
I think that's what Grace has got. I
That's
think Grace
knobbage
is white,
and
or it
touchy
might be
bits.
silver.
Yeah.
Ian,
It's
did you ever buy
mental.
the Terra?
No, I didn't, and I will buy it. But and they've just
Yeah, it's
emailed
on my
me again
list
and
too.
said, "You're my next in line." Yeah, but actually, I'm going to wait till there's a dealer in the UK because I'm not going to pay import duty on it, and they won't tell me how much extra I'm going to have to pay. So I'm just going to leave it for the time being. I don't need it now, but I will buy it definitely.
Matt says he likes the Strager's design.
Yeah, well, make noise. All the make noise stuff is always interesting. Except sometimes the labelling can be really impenetrable as to what it means and what it's
Yes.
supposed to do.
Labeling's weird, yeah.
The-
That's
It's like
what put me off.
like a draftsman's, dream labeling. Like you see those
Scrolling, yeah.
draftsman, drawings. JX3D, he likes the Sonic Mirage. We'll just pop that one up.
It's
Classic.
well, yeah, very simple, but
Except for the hex editing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, let's just go straight to it because they're all talking about it. So we'll grab Lady Aptitude. Says the Yamaha TQ5. I've got to get that up. I remember what that looks like. That's going to be
Oh, very Spartan.
yeah.
Look, yeah. Right.
Yamaha TQ5.
It's like at an angle.
Ah,
It's
without the
kind of an
dash.
angle.
Without the dash. Here we go. Oh, this was a great thing.
Is that the thing?
Okay.
Everything at an angle.
Yeah. It's like it's like they kind of
Slanted.
yeah. They were on a boat when they designed it.
Yeah.
There you go.
That one. Yeah,
Oh,
so it's
yeah,
wrong on
yeah.
every level.
It's a real
Yeah.
80s.
No.
That's
Yeah,
a real
it is,
80s
yeah.
design,
It's
isn't it?
just-
It's very 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Skinny buttons. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna be very boring, and I'm just gonna go for Roland. I just have always loved the look of Roland synths. Full stop. They always
Yeah.
look great. Even the ones that are green.
Even
I
the
like
Iras,
those.
yep.
I like the green. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ira's nice. Yeah.
Okay, so what have we got here? Nords from Bert. He likes the Nords.
Nord, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nord.
Some of them look
Yeah.
nice. I just wish
Wooden
they
stick.
wouldn't do everything very similar, but some of the Nords look really nice. Yeah. Okay.
Smart too, because that red you can't miss on stage. You know what it is.
Wagyu likes the
Oh,
Udo.
exactly. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Udo though? Which Udo?
New Udo or the old
The new one
All
or
of
the
them.
old one? Yeah, all of them. They are nice, aren't they? They're kind of like SH101.
They are Rolandy though. Yeah.
Yeah,
the-
SH101ish.
Juno. That Roland design, I think.
Darren, what about yourself? Other than the
Well,
Veroma.
Bastel.
I love that sort of pastels. Yeah. I don't mind Waldorf. I know the Waldorf Pulse and the Waldorf Blowfault. I think they're quite nice. I mean, they're built. I mean, you can hit anyone with them and take them out. I know the encoders are a bit of a pain, but
Do you speak from experience there, Darren?
He does.
no. But if you was at a gig with that and someone tried to take it, you just hit one of them. That's going to take you out clean out that.
That's
the
a
encoders-
Saturday
the
night in
encoders
Oxford
are
Road in
nice.
Manchester.
It is.
I was going to say they love the D2. No one loves the D2.
Oh no, we don't.
No one likes that. That was- Andy,
They
that was
couldn't
in
run
our
with that one.
that was in our what was that show we called? Was it
Ugly
the worst
Synths.
ugly
Yeah,
synths or
the
something?
Ugly
Yeah. Was it ages ago?
Well, it's Roland, but it looks like it was made in
Not the
Germany.
Akai
'Cause
Timberwolf,
that
no.
orange. They love that orange color.
Oh, Wagoo's already jumped in with the Timberwolf classic.
Oh,
Move
yeah.
over.
Pininfarina.
Pininfarina.
Fisher Price. Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It is. Fisher Price.
Timberwolf and Pininfarina in one sentence.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
first synth.
How could you possibly even come up with that? Yeah. So I think there's a bit of a I don't know what the word is, but like there's a bit of an excitement when you see a design that you really gravitate towards, like we've just talked about a few, right? And then when you actually start using that particular device, and you think sometimes the device lets you down with the sounds, but the attraction might be still there with the look. And sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes the sounds even take it even further down a love affair, right? And then you've got this really nice looking product visually, and then the sounds that are coming out of it are just absolutely floating your boat. I can think of a few Roland products that have kind of done that to me over the years.
Yeah.
I'm giving Roland a bit of love today, but I think there's definitely some Korg stuff that I've
That's
liked.
Roland
as
D2.
well.
He didn't like the D2.
Nah. Yeah.
I love the not up six. Poly 6. Poly 6 was a favourite of mine
Yeah.
back in the day. And I've owned the DW6000 and 8000. From a design point of view, they weren't that interesting. They were very 80s, but
Yeah. I
MS2000 maybe.
Yeah, I think that sort of post DW8000 period, which was M1
Yeah.
and O1W and Wave Station and those, they were beautiful looking machines, but bloody hell, like all of them, they're just buggers to program. I mean,
I could never
a similar sort of period,
bloody.
the W30, for example,
Yeah.
again, sort of the display was actually really easy to use.
I never
Roland.
really was able to program the M1. I certainly was able to program the DW8000, and the Poly-6 was a
Yeah,
really
that was somebody was talking about that the other day. Said it was actually really difficult. A guy did a video of the best second-hand synths you can buy, some vintage ones, and said DW8000 you can pick them up for. And it's really difficult to program. It's not difficult to program. It's not difficult to program. You put your parameter and alter it. You can only do one at a time.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe the Matrix Brew as well.
So the DW8000 and the Ensoniq ESQ1 kind of sat in a very similar corner to me, because you had like a digital sort of oscillator type, sampley sort of thing, right? And then you had the analog filters, and I thought the ESQ1 was easier to program than the DW. So I mean, that if you've ever programmed an ESQ1, they're dead simple. They are absolutely dead simple to program. Because they've got this screen, and then across the top you've got buttons, and down the bottom you've got buttons, and literally what's written on the screen, the button above it or the below it, is what you press to get to that particular part of and then you've got an envelope section, an oscillator section. You just click on it, and you're there. There's no real diving on it. It's actually
it didn't
really
feel as menu
ingenious.
divey, even though it kind of was.
Yeah, and
was very
and you can come back to
So
it
I
after
actually-
years and still use it
actually
like I
made-
did.
Yeah. I actually
Nobody's
made
yet.
the DW8000 in Max MSP probably about 7 years ago.
Yep.
I have to say I haven't looked at it for the last 5 years. It was a bit buggy when it was finished, but I did actually make it from scratch. And I used the original samples. Somebody gave me the original samples that Korg would use. And it did sound like a DW8000. I was quite pleased.
But they weren't really samples, were they? They were just analysed waveforms. So they were the piano one didn't sound pretty much like a piano until you'd actually put
it never sounded like a proper piano. No,
they were just spectral harmonics, whatever they call it.
Yeah, the
Nobody's
ESQ1
mentioned
had similar
Moog
problems
yet.
to that. Yeah, true. They haven't. I think Sub 37 is probably one of my favourite Moog designs.
Yeah, that's what Assailhead's just put in.
Oh, has he? Oh,
yeah,
awesome. There you go.
Moog's always looked gorgeous. I mean,
you just said
a lot of people. I mean, take the matriarch.
That's the black one,
the one that was all Grace's matriarch is with the one with the different colours on it. So the sort of turquoise and yellow
that's the
and
one
green.
I wish I had.
Yeah,
there
were a bunch of things on the same time as the DW8000, like the Alpha
Do you
Juno.
So you like the matriarch
the,
look, did you, Brooksy, with the colours?
Well, just looking at it on a screen, you go, oh, I wish they hadn't done those colours. It's a bit the same with the grandmother, and I know they've done the black ones. Grace couldn't get the black one. At the time, she couldn't get those, so she got that one. But actually, when you sit in front of it,
colours are nice. Actually,
it's a beautiful thing. It is beautiful. It feels gorgeous. The quality of it is just stunning, and you can see those sections absolutely clearly. And it's a lovely design. I'll stick my neck out and go, yeah, I think it's good. At first, I was a bit look at those colours, but when you stand in front of one, you don't see it like that. You really don't.
I mean, I saw one in a shop, and it kind of still felt the same to me. It felt like one of those weird 1980s French artist type things, the look, LOOK, those sort of things. That's what it felt like to me. And then at the same time, it felt like, I can't take that module out. I want to take it out. But it's just paint. Yeah. I think that was our criticism when they released it, right? When we were talking about it, when they actually released it on the show.
Actually modular.
It wasn't actually modular, yeah. It is though. In its to its defense, it is, but you just can't actually pull the modules out. But it is in its
you can
way
in and
that
out
you use
all the
it.
modules.
Yeah.
That are in
Which I think is quite clever. And it's got an amazing sound. So that side of it's pretty good. Lady Aptitude said Alesis Andromeda, and I used to have a little bit of a dribble coming out of my mouth with that thing when it first came out. There was a little bit of a dribble, thinking, it would be nice. Jupiter 8 was probably another one that used to make me dribble a bit.
Can I just something I forgot to mention? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to butt in here. Speaking of the Andromeda, Native VS, Robert, came to Sheffield last night. He was up in Sheffield anyway, but he came to the EMOM. So we met up with Robert Schussler, Native VS, last night, which was lovely. So nice to see you, Robert. I know you're busy this afternoon, but it was nice to see you there. That was a little treat. Of course, he's got an Andromeda.
Yeah, well, we don't get to
Yeah,
see.
he's trying to sell it.
We don't get to see him on the
He's
show
trying to sell it, but
very much anymore. I know he's
probably very busy on Saturday afternoons things, but he's
Yeah.
actually up in
Yeah,
Sheffield to
he's-
see a show that a mate of his is in.
There's the Andromeda there for those who want to be reminded of what it looked
Yeah.
like. It probably doesn't do it for me anymore. I don't know why. It
Doesn't-
used
no,
to. It used to do it for
I
me.
always thought it was kind of ugly, but
Yeah,
good features on it, though.
Doesn't appeal
Yeah.
to me.
I
never-
don't want to.
Never been
Waldorf
on
Wave.
light coloured panels.
I don't want to go into a discussion
I've never
about
been.
that synth because we'll start going down a rabbit hole of why it was never finished and blah 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 blah.
Jupiter 6 is one I've always fancied. I don't know why neither.
Yeah,
I like the Jupiter
Beautiful.
6. Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
the funny thing about the Andromeda, I had a chat back in the old days of Harmony Central before Gearspace took over as the primary like hub of stuff, and
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a private chat with some guy once after a discussion about the Andromeda, and he was basically friendly with the engineers and had all the dirt on the backstory of the Andromeda and all the stuff it didn't do what it's supposed to do, and they're trying to cover it up and the bugs and the glitches and stuff. It was very interesting.
I think I might have remember reading something on that website too about it too. Like there was some pretty
There's a big
deep-
fight about it in
Yeah.
the chat, but this guy said, "Oh, actually, by the way, what some of the stuff you said, because I actually tried one once. A friend bought one for a friend, and I got to spend a few hours with it for once. And I noticed a bunch of the problems right off the bat. It hard crashed. I had to reboot it.
Yep.
Some knobs are doing multiple functions they're not supposed to do, and some other weird stuff. It was not finished. Yeah. So,
But I think the biggest issue was there with so you would do stuff on it, like to program it, and then stuff would move, and you'd be like, I can't get it back. Like, what do I do? And people would be like calling up Elisis and saying, "What do I do, guys? You know, you're really frustrating me here. I've
Like-
spent hours
like,
getting
don't bother us.
that
We're
sound."
trying not to go under.
Yeah. So it was a nightmare, you know,
Yeah.
in some regards.
Guys, my batteries
Um,
are
we
going
try-
to so I'm going to have to go.
No worries.
So I'm
Right.
going to
We'll
say
probably
okay.
wrap it up as well, Ian. Speaking
Right.
of which,
So thanks. I've enjoyed this last couple of hours. It's fantastic. Good to see everybody again. Everybody in the chat.
Yeah, cheers,
See you
Ian.
next week. But from Edinburgh,
Yeah,
I
cheers,
guess.
Ian.
We'll try again. I'll
Yeah,
try
yeah.
and- I'll
Yeah,
try
thanks
and
from
come again
Edinburgh.
from Edinburgh. Yeah.
All right, mate.
See you
Yeah.
next week.
Good to see you.
See you later, guys.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bye.
Take care, Ian.
Well, we probably
Yeah.
should
See you,
probably
mate.
wrap it up too.
Well,
See
actually,
ya.
I was just
Actually,
going to ask you,
one more
Ranzee,
quick
if you-
comment about the. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go.
I was going to ask
Me?
Ranzee
Okay.
if you could call up one, because I actually asked, I mentioned this one, and Music Maestro 123 just mentioned it as well. The Waldorf Wave,
Oh
and
yeah.
have a look at that, and then do a comparison of that with the Matrix Brute.
I
I
remember
know
the
they're not the
Waldorf
same
Wave.
thing, but
We've shown the Waldorf Wave a few times because it had a few different colours, didn't it? Where is
It's
it?
very colorful.
Yeah. Which one do you want me to go with? There's a red one. There's
there's the blue one that I normally think of in my
the
own head.
blue one.
But
Oh, I'll show the red one.
is there a-
The red one looks
I'll show
amazing.
the red one.
It's just going to let me do it though. Oh, yes. Look at that. It's a good photo.
Oh wow! I don't think I've seen a picture of the red one. That's
No,
that's the thing.
it's a beautiful picture too.
very good.
Oh,
Yeah. That probably it looks a bit kind of crazy. You think, oh my god, that's so red, but it wouldn't be too bad after you get used to it. It wouldn't be too bad. I mean,
No.
obviously you'd want the original color, which was this one. I'll show you. I'll grab it now.
It's like the ASR Pro X, the color.
Yeah. What is it? They're kind of like a blue gray.
It's like a brick red.
There's the original one was kind of like this color, right?
Yeah,
yeah, that's a classic.
that's one Kent had in his garden.
Yeah. Was he hosing it? Have you seen those photos of people hosing down like synths and mixers, in different parts of the world that aren't our parts of the world. Let me just say that much. Because they want to clean the dust off them. So they just got the garden hose out and they're just Yes. So do you want a Waldorf?
I'll just say one more thing about the we're talking about the designs and layouts and stuff. There was a funny time period when Roland, Akai, all these guys, Korg, were all doing similar design language. The DW8000, the AX80, Alpha Juno, they all had that kind of linear layout, and often had an alpha dial of some kind or some kind of single control point, and then either buttons or sliders or little thingies to tweak it. It's kind of a funny time period where they're all kind of stealing from each other.
Yeah, that Juno Alpha, that was a synth that used to make me angry. That was probably one of Roland's designs that I never liked. That used to make me angry, that synth.
It sounds great.
It sounds like a Juno, but like if you ever wanted to do anything with it, it was just frustrating. Because it was like...
You had to get the PG300 for it.
It was... Yeah.
I played one of those in a music store here in Perth. It's one of the first synths I actually went to a music store and played. Wasn't a great one to start with, huh?
Yeah. I mean, like, one of the first synths that I bought was a Roland XP10, right? Which is a Rompler. And it's one of the cheap Romplers that they ever made. And when I was buying it, there was a Juno Alpha in the store, and it was either that or the XP10. And the problem with the Juno Alpha is it was very limited as to the sounds that you could get out of it.
Yeah.
And it was very
just like
limited.
a Juno. I mean, it's also very limited.
Yeah, like a Juno.
But it's a Juno that
when you're starting. Yeah.
Imagine owning a Juno, but then someone handcuffs you with your arms behind your back and saying, "Right, now you can play a Juno." That's the Juno Alpha. So yeah, XP10 killed it.
But it's a synth that spawned the Hoover sound that everyone likes. So
yeah, and also it's slightly different acoustically to the older Junos as well, because they made some subtle changes to the chips and DACs and stuff like that that's in it. They made it cheaper. That's really the bottom line. So if you like the one that Darren's got there is going to sound 10 times nicer than a Juno Alpha. There was one Juno Alpha that did sound better than the others though. So. I think that the Alpha 1 is better than the Alpha 2, or the Alpha 2 is better. Someone will remind us in chat, but one of the Alphas is better than the other.
I thought the main difference was aftertouch and longer keyboard on the Alpha 2. But
it might be 2 better than 1, yeah.
Longer
it might be that.
Velocity and aftertouch,
yeah.
And I think, I think that's what it was. The reason why the Alpha 2 actually kind of clawed back a bit of respect, because the Alpha 1 was just such an abomination by Roland that when they brought the Alpha 2 out, they kind of clawed back a bit of respect by putting... It was shocking. It's their worst synth they ever made.
I don't know if it's an abomination, but it is more limited, I guess.
That's really harsh.
I like it, though. It sounds great.
Terrible. Yeah. And I still sit here today with an XP10.
It's a program either. You've got the parameter list. You call it in, you change it.
Oh, I hate that thing. I hate that thing.
Oh, well.
Dialing it in.
Oh, well, never mind.
Like you're ringing up
get the programmer.
You're ringing up your grandma, spinning that thing around.
I mean, they all had this, right? The JX3P had the programmer. The D50 had the fancy programmer.
With the programmer, it would have been decent. Yeah.
So.
I mean, I've said this before. When they brought the Boutique out and they brought the the JU-06, the first one, they should have made it so that you could have connected it up to an old Juno Alpha, or and then you've got yourself a programmer as well as a synth module that you can use as well. To me, that would have just been... They're not the same. No, they're not.
The Alpha Juno oscillators have got more waveforms in them, and you can do sort of.
But at least the JX3P Boutique put the programmer into it. It added more knobs. So.
Yeah. Well, when you're using like a System 8, right, and you're using it in all the different modes, so you've got a System 8 and you're turning it into a Jupiter 8, things open up on the panel, and then when you're using it in Juno, things disappear. So you've got like one whole envelope section that disappears in it.
Right.
Like, so that's kind of what they should have done, like something more like that. I reckon it would have been cool. In maybe a boutique-y sort of way. But yeah, they kind of just stopped all development of all those programming modules. There was very little made, and so when there was a period in sort of like the mid 2000s where if you bought a second-hand Juno or a JX3P or something like that, and you wanted the programmer, they were insanely expensive to buy because they were so rare to get.
That's why iPads took off. People were using the programmer on the iPad. So.
Yeah. All right, we should probably wrap up, I think.
Yep.
We have done the show for the week. Yeah. So, anyone want to say anything quickly before we finish up?
I've got two EMOMs this coming week. I'm playing at Stoke, and then I'm going from Stoke to Blackpool for Jamie's EMOM in Blackpool, which is on Friday, and will be live streamed on YouTube on Jamie's channel. So it's always going to be an interesting one. That Jamie puts on a damn good show when he's doing those. So that's me this week.
So you're going to the Blackpool one.
Blackpool EMOM on Friday. So I may well be back here in time next Saturday, or I may not. So if I don't appear, it's because I've decided to bugger off somewhere else. So I'm keeping my options open. I'll try and let you know beforehand.
Yeah, let me know, because then I can pop Chris in your spot or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
of course. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right, Darren, anything to mention from your side?
No, because I've not had a chance to do a video. I've not had a chance to do a tune or video for tomorrow. Unfortunately, this is going to be another week without a tune because I've had no chance to do anything this week. So
fair enough. No worries.
What can I say?
It's all Dave's fault.
Give us a video of your live set.
It is. My live set is massive. It's now 1.5 hours.
Well, yeah, but your gear, your rig, maybe. Is that what you meant, Brooksy?
The rig, yeah. Well,
just a bit.
That's my live set then.
Whoa. And you needed what,
Excellent.
58 cables for that? I think you got a little porky there, Darren.
It's these two. It's that's a bit of my live set.
Oh, the MIDI thing. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's a bit of my live set.
Yeah.
And a whole table. I've got a whole desk that I have to build up, which is out there. I can't get that in the studio.
It's like, oh, you know, we're going on a holiday. We're just going to go down the street, but also we're going to fly around the world. Yeah, it's basically what you just said. I've got a little bit of here, a little bit here, and a whole desk of stuff over there. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, I'll take that one, set it up, and then go. Yeah, well, when it's all fixed up, ready, because I'm writing my live set. Well, I say writing it. I'm producing my live set as it keeps growing. I keep stopping, and then I think, oh no, I've got an idea. So it expands to like I say, it's about 1.5 hours now. But the thing is, I can play 1 minute if I wanted to. So I can go from 1 minute to 1.5 hours. And it can be different every time, so I can have the same set.
That flexibility is cool. I think that's a really, really cool way of doing it.
So I can basically, every time I play, it'll be different. But it's a bit like a modular, actually, because you still have to pre-patch stuff, but you can still play it differently.
Yep.
So that's how it's working in my brain, but not as a modular type
Good
thing.
idea.
I know what I'm playing, but I can change it.
All right, we're going to finish up, people, so say goodbye. Be nice to your mum.
See ya.
Say goodbye.
I'll
Happy birthday to my wife, by the way.
Have a good
And,
weekend.
Birthday, Mrs. Ranzee.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Happy birthday.
Indeed.
Get that quiet.
Don't forget to press record.
Just want to say,
See you later.
just going to say one thing.
Bye-bye.